Here, ladies and gentlemen, with the new head basketball coach of Coastal Carolina, from Cullowhee to Conway, my man just controls the Carolinas. And last year, he was able to bring a lot of wins to Cullowhee. Now he has a new challenge, and I'm happy because Justin Gray is a good coach, and he continues to impress, get opportunities, and improve. And I think that's the big thing that stands out. Coach, thank you for being a part, and thank you for jumping on the Field of 68 off the Carousel series.
Man, Terrence, I appreciate you. We was talking earlier. I told you I'm husband of the year right now. The mountains were beautiful. They were, but we went from the mountains to the coast. I'm accepting my trophy in June, first week of June. I told my wife I needed to put it up on the desk in the office, husband of the year. So, yeah. But we're excited. We really are. And we're out here working now.
That's good. It's interesting. How did this job come about? Because it's been incremental in terms of your improvement in Western Carolina. The first year didn't go so great. And then you started to get your guys, install your culture into what you were trying to do. How did this job come about? Because whenever your name popped up, everybody's like, well, that makes sense. But what was the process like getting a hold of the job in Conway?
Yeah, I think it goes back, even before I was the head coach at Western, it was, Pat Kelsey played a huge role in that, and I retired from playing in Europe, 12 years. And it was during those 12 years, he was always sort of actively recruiting me. Like, man, you'd be a great coach. You'd be a great coach. And I had told him multiple times, like, I'm not crazy enough to get in this profession. Like, I see how you guys are. And then I made a decision to try it. Like, let's give it a shot. And then I fell in love with it. And now I'm at the point to where it's like, I enjoy others reaching their goals more than I like playing. So like I enjoyed playing. I did. It was nothing like it. It's experience. It's a select few that get to that place. But it's even smaller when you think about the people that you can impact. You can have lifelong relationships with. You can instill the faith in them, and that's what we've been at, And so at Western, you say it was just an okay year. I think it was the best year so far in my coaching career because I was able to establish a culture that I knew would be able to win not one year but multiple years, and it was an investment. I tell people, listen, man, Justin Gray is like Bitcoin back in the day.
There you go.
If you'll get in early, I'm telling you right now, the payout's going to be there. It's just the work ethic. I always believe student athletes are the best employees because we've been in the fire. We know what it's like to work alone. We know what it's like to work with others. We know what it's like when we win, when we lose, to still have that same kind of drive to keep pushing forward. And those are the things we sort of just instill in our student athletes and the programs. And man, I'm blessed because this administration at Coastal is good, man. Like we got good people around us, and they're going to support us, and the community is ready.
How long was it before the job came open? You met with the AD, obviously. How was that interview? Whenever you went down to tour campus and all that, what was the process like there specifically?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I'm gonna speak candidly. It sort of happened before because Cliff had retired, so it was a little bit different because they had a vacancy.
Sure.
And they reached out to my representation, and I told them I was focusing on the year, and that was the most important thing was to try to give my best efforts to my student athletes. We met there around conference tournament time, just have a conversation to see if it was something, and I asked them why Coastal. They were sort of interviewing me, but I asked them those questions, and the answer that they gave was, I think really, really what drew me towards it. They said, they wanted football to be really good. They got the FBS, was a top 25 team. people investing in it, community investing in it, school investing in it. Baseball, same thing. They won the freaking World Series, you know, and they invested in the community, invested in it. And they said now is the time, you know, for them to do the same thing in basketball and the vision and the people around it. And that vision, I could see it, you know, and I know Cliff, awesome, awesome career. I mean, I think he just got the SEC legend or something at the SEC tournament. And he still gave me a hard time about, I think it was 2003. We played those guys when I was a freshman at Wake, and they beat us. So he let me know about that. But you know, I always say you can't know where you're going until you figure out what was before you. You know, so being able to spend some time with him, and him sort of give me the lay of the land, those things sold me on it.
Being a little introspective here, and I was there at the SoCon tournament. I did the first couple of days whenever it was your first year, and you had an expedited trip to being a head coach. Like, you got done with playing, and then all these things kind of happened quickly. And I'm happy they did, because you're obviously seeing success right now. But year one, Western Carolina, 11 wins. Year two, 18. Year three, 22. What has been the biggest thing for you as far as growing as a coach? You've obviously seen those things. You've seen them in action have success. As you go back and reflect, and as you move forward into this year, what are the things that have really stuck out to you as far as how winning happens? And a lot of people, a lot of coaches love this saying, winning's hard, but you figured out how winning happens. What have been the things that stick out to you, and what do you hang your hat on when it comes to some of those things? And where have you grown? That's a long question. Where have you grown? Is what I'm getting at.
It's a good one, but I think the first thing is to realize that it's not about me, right? We're not playing. It's not an individual sport, you know. So I've been blessed to be on really good teams as a player. So back in high school at West Charlotte, it was Jason Parker, who was an all-world player, played at Kentucky, played at South Carolina. I went to Oak Hill. It was Sagana Job. It was Carmelo Anthony. Guess what? I wasn't the number one option. I figured out how to be successful. Went to Wake year one. It was Josh Howard. Then we had Chris Paul. I mean, like, I've always been on these teams to where I wasn't the guy, but I knew what my role was. So even when I got to coaching, I just figured that's what's worked, you know. And right now I'm being elevated and I'm out front, but I also know my staff is elite. Jason G, Ryan Lightfoot, Kyle Taylor, Zach Friesman, Cody, Austin Davis. I mean, those people are good, you know, and I know it's the people that is around me. Championships are won by administrations. That's what I found out. You know, what you're allowed to do, how well they fight for you, the resources that they put out in front of you. I mean, I'm in Seattle right now. I wasn't able to do that at Western, which was fine, but now it's like, go do your thing. You know, go get it done. You know, and they have to allow that. So it's not me. And so I would say I've learned that for a long time, but I also know when we talk about players, it's character, it's toughness, it's talent. Like you in this world, we've been pros. We know how it is. Everybody's looking what everybody else has and what he's making and what's going on around you. You sort of put blinders on. And if you get those three things, the right kind of kids that care about winning, because guess what? When we win, we all eat.
Yeah.
And they got to have some kind of mental toughness that have gone through some things and being able to fight through them. And then obviously talent, it has to be there, you know, and we look at those things. We evaluate parents. I mean, I heard Coach Hurley talking about it. They're vital. They're vital. And something we've been really, really good at is connecting with the families that we've had, because it's almost like an AAU feel. We're all in this together.
Sure.
You know, we need to be able to call on them. They need to be able to call on us. I tell them I don't discuss playing time, just like I don't tell them how much allowance to give their kids. You know, that's their household. So sort of have this good relationship and being honest and upfront. Real love is telling somebody the truth. You know, just telling them the truth. And I think they respect that. They respect the background that I've had. And in terms, our players buy all the way in. You know, I mean, we're able to keep Vontaze Woolbright when everybody in America wanted Vontaze Woolbright after year two.
Sure.
You know, and he comes back and and I understand it's not about me, it's the players. Without Vontaze Woolbright, do we win 20 games? I don't think so. I think we'll be good, but it'll be a different look.
Sure.
We talking about the conference player of the year. So just being up front with them, but the growth is happening. I always say 3 G's have to happen. Got to have gratitude, got to give glory to the man who's blessed us all, and then you have to have growth. Like those three things. If we're doing that, we'll be in a good space, and you can sleep at night. You can live with the results.
Sure. You talk about Vontaze Woolbright. You've had some other really good players there. When Western Carolina walked out on the floor the last couple of years in SoCon play, Western Carolina looked different. Big-time athletes. And that goes back to your talent evaluation, your staff's talent evaluation. Where do you feel like you guys have been able to succeed there? Where sometimes Vontaze Woolbright was a good player before he got there, but you were able to elevate him. Is that part of your pitch? And then on top of that, I know you have a good eye for talent. Is hiring your guys as far as talent evaluation a huge part of what you're doing? And what do you think stands apart from your contemporaries, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, there's a million ways to do it. And I realize that, I do listen and I read and I try to, pick up things that I want to add to it. But I understand, I trust my staff's evaluations. They know me. Like they know the guys that I always say, get someone that has some of the bravado that I had as a player, the toughness as a player, the confidence. We need those things. Like you want to be able to coach guys that have a little bit of you. And then we also understand what we'll give to them as well. So putting them in the right position.
I love that. Coach guys that have a little bit of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you
have to, in my opinion. And then understanding, you got to put them in the right positions. And sometimes you have to persuade them that is the right position. I always tell guys, sometimes we're in the game and guys want to be a hero. I'm like, well, you'll be a hero by doing your job. So when you think of the police, the firemen, the people that go out and fight for our country, guess what? The medic over there when they're fighting is just as important as the frontline guy. He's not picking up a gun and trying to go out and do no. He's doing his job, and when he comes home, he gets a freaking medal, and he's a hero by doing his job. So we sell that to our players and everybody in the program, down to the managers. I mean, anybody that's a part of it, we don't need energy vampires. We need discipline. We need a little bit of grit. That's how you get excellence, and we've preached that, and we out down the hill about those things. And it's been fun. I know the journey is just really beginning. And I'm excited about it. And I'm telling you, man, down at the coast, it's going to be fun. It's a nice place. The weather's nice. Yes, golf courses. Yes, the beach is nice. But I'm telling you, if you come on into the HTC, it's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking.
Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. After a 6-month season loaded with cross-country travel, I can promise you that proper recovery is a priority for me these days. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of The Field of 68. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or the EE system. If you haven't heard of the EE system yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in New Jersey or at one of the hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. If you're interested in experiencing the EE system technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/unified68 to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/UNIFYD, the number 6, the number 8. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including the EE system.
I love it. I love it. One thing I noticed, obviously you had big time offensive talent. We talked a little bit before I hit the record button, but you had the best defense in the SoCon last year. And I find it intriguing because a lot of people equate defense with, well, they get steals, they get this, they get that. Well, people are sitting and watching Field of 68. That's a little bit more of an educated fan base.
Yeah.
Man, look, you guys were the number one defense. You were dead last in the conference in steals. Justin Gray's figured it out. His staff's figured it out. That's where you guys hang your hat, is your defensive identity. How have you been able to control that? Is it good individual defense? Is it making sure guys it didn't look like you guys were pack lining. It looked like you guys are guard your yard. I'm going to put my good defender in front of your best player, and we're just going to see what happens. Or there's obviously a lot of method to the madness of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think, again, it's multiple ways of doing it. And for us, after studying the league in year one and being in it, and one of the best hires I've made was Ron Lightfoot. I'm telling you. I mean, like, the dude is a genius. And we sat down and we talked about the three-point line. Like, when you looked at the SoCon, everybody was shooting threes. I mean, I think it was 6 or 7 teams that were in the top 15, top 20 in three-point rate. Like, the three ball was important. So I did homework. I did, he did his part. I called Wes Miller, who I'm close with, and we played AAU ball. He had won the league. He was a little different. He pressured you, but he also said you needed somebody to protect the rim.
Sure.
So Charles Lampton was a huge piece in that. We figured, like, listen, we might not throw him the ball on the block. That's okay. But if he can make it tough on him at the rim, we'll live with the results of everything else. Like, run him off the three, no catch and shoot threes, or, so we got no catch and shoot threes, no middle, no second chance points. And we preach those things, and I think catch and shoot threes is one of the easiest things that I could do. So I always what did I not like as a player? I didn't like people all in my space and crowding me and making me put it on the deck and being physical and hitting guys. And, those things weren't fun because I was a catch and shoot guy. And then what we said was, just being tough as crap. Guard the ball, man. Like, there is no help. If he score on you. But we also knew that we had a big fella at the rim. You get downhill. It's hard to make Dipsy do layups. The lowest percentage of shot in the game is a non-paint contested 2. We tried to, take guys, force guys to take those kind of shots. We tried to play with discipline and try not to foul. But guess what? When you're being physical, sometimes you foul.
Yeah.
But I've also been at Cameron Indoor, and all 5 guys are fouling. And guess what? They ain't
Been
calling.
there.
They ain't calling all of those, are they?
No.
So guess what? I'm telling our dudes, hit that joker. You know what I mean? So we just be physical. We playing with our hands out. We being physical as crap. And then they don't call all the calls. Guess what? We playing basketball, not table tennis. So you're going to get hit a little bit. So the physicality is really, really important. And then getting guys that have some IQ and some feel.
Sure.
Oh, and I mean, Russell Jones was an anomaly because, he's built like a fire hydrant, but he was quick as I don't know what. So he pressure you. You couldn't just go by him. Those things were really, really good for our defense at the point of attack. And then behind him, we had big fella that protect the rim.
Sure. Let me ask you this, because you evaluated the SoCon, which was known as one of the best three-point shooting teams. You moved to the Sun Belt. Not the case.
Yeah.
Are those things going to change in how you cover those things, or are you going to keep some of the same principles, or is it going to go more to kind of, hey, we got to protect the rim in this league because it's a little bit different?
Yeah, we'll evaluate it, and that's one of the things we're doing now. I also think, it's the players that you bring,
of course.
Well.
Sure.
Everybody can have a system, but if you don't have the guys that fit in that system, so we'll do a little bit of evaluating of our talent and then coming up with it, but we still gonna want people to take non-paint contested 2s. I mean, that's the lowest percentage shot in the game. We understand that. We still don't want to give up catch and shoot 3s. And we still want to make it tough at the rim. And I always say offensive rebounds happen. I think that's when you think of defense, you think of finishing possessions, right? Like, If you can finish, Dwight Howard was Defensive Player of the Year back in the day. Yeah, he blocked some shots, but guess what? He averaged like 14 rebounds a game, 15 rebounds. He closed off, he finished the possession. And I think that's where we really, really were good at Western, like coming up with the basketball, like not giving up second chance points. And when they did get a rebound, just being physical and guarding you so you don't get a good shot, you know. And I think you can practice that over and over and over. And we have drills that we do over and over and over to sort of, you know, build that resiliency of it's okay. They got it. They're still not going to score.
Sure.
You know, you need those kind of things and that kind of mindset. But the league is going to be tough. I mean, it's long, it's athletic, playing transition. You know, when you look at App State and our numbers defensively, you wouldn't be able to tell who's who. Right. And so when we think we'll still be able to do some of those same things because what they did is what we did, you know. So it'll be interesting. But the job is called for adjustments and to be able to I came in, I didn't have that game plan.
Sure.
I didn't have that, you know, it was something different. So we'll figure it out, man. Like I said, my staff is the best. We'll sit down and we'll come up with the best options for Coastal.
Gotcha. All right. So my last question might be a bit of a curveball.
Yeah.
Best restaurant to eat in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. Because I've been there. I've been there.
What? I haven't been to a lot of restaurants because I've been in hotels.
Right.
I've been on the road, you know. But if you ask me that in a couple months, I'll be able to tell you that, man. We're a little bit everywhere right now.
No. I mean, back when you were playing. So I was kind of going back to when you're in Cluj-Napoca, Romania.
You talking about Europe?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been there. Hey, man. Look, we've talked about this before, you and I, but I'm kind of joking and saying that whenever you're able to sell, hey, man, I did it. How much does that help your guys basically buy in quicker? This is my last question. I was kind of joking with the Cluj-Napoca best restaurant because I've been to Romania too. It's where I played the European Championships. But how quick is it easier to get guys to buy in quicker because you've done it?
Great spot. Cluj is a great spot now. I'm telling you. Had a great time out that way. But yeah, it's easier to get guys to buy in because I've done it. You know, and everybody wants to be a pro until you tell them exactly how a pro operates.
Yeah.
And you hold them accountable to what a pro does. And you call them out on the standards that pro keep and the disciplines and the consistency. Like, but the really good ones, what I found is drawn to that. Like they want to be held accountable. They want to become more consistent because, you know, it's an investment in themselves, you know. So our staff continues to try to do that with all our student athletes, and it's the relationship that we build. You know, I can call teams back in Europe right now.
Hold on one second, Justin. Hold on one second. Your internet's gone out on me.
And they'll ask me, that's important.
Hold on one second. Your internet's going out on me. You there? Justin, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You said I can call, and it went out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You said I can call.
Just so everybody know, I'm in Seattle.
Getting dudes.
On the wrong coast.
He's on the coast. He's getting dudes everywhere. Oh, we're going to cut it now because I don't know how the internet's working in Seattle. But new head coach of Coastal Carolina, my main man, Justin Gray, was a great player for a long time. And he did a great job at Western Carolina. Now we get to see what he gets to do at Coastal. So it's going to be fun to see. Coach, thanks so much for being a part. And best of luck. I'm sure I'll see you on the circuit.
Hey, Terrence, I appreciate you for having me, man. Shant's up.
Yep. Shant's up. Let's go.